This is Zeke with Aegis Imperium. Welcome back to our blog. With the help of my fellow guildmates, the Imperium will be presenting some information that isn't posted on the MO website but can be found in the forums. For anyone new to the forums, a great place to start looking is the Answer to Your Questions section. However, if you want to find out as much information as possible about content or details on systems within the game, we recommend you go to the Encyclopedia thread on the Aegis Imperium forums or keep watching these informational videos. The following information will be presented in this video. Line 1978 will be discussing the social interaction system. Skirmcard will be talking about item stats. And Lacrimose will be explaining class guilds. Let's get started.
Hi there, this is Lion from Aegis Imperium. I would like to make a short summary about in-game chat system in Mortal Online. To get the needed information, I searched the Aegis Imperium Encyclopedia and found an entry from Matt Pearson. Then I chatted with Hendrik to get the latest news regarding in-game chat and possibilities. Here is what I found out. There will be no global chat or channel. There will be guild channels once you have the appropriate collective conscious upgrade for a guildstone. It doesn't matter if you like it or not, as every other third-party communication program will give you the same, like Mumble, TeamSpeak or Ventrilo. There will be whisper and tell to people nearby, but whispers and tells may be overheard by people with good hearing skills or lip reading skills. There will be messaging, like sending a message to a friend to arrange a meeting, by sending a pigeon, but the pigeon will have a delay, making it worthless in battle or when quick communication is needed. Regarding to Henrik, they are still testing the pigeon, so he can tell no details so far. This was Lion for Aegis Imperium video blog. Thanks for listening and have a nice day.
Skirmcard from Aegis Imperium here. I'm here to talk to you about one of my favorite posts from the Mortal Online developers. This particular post talks about how most values and details dealing with combat will be hidden and presented in abstract form. This means, say you were to be finding a sword in the middle of the road Mortal Online, you would not be able to tell any information on the sword unless you had a sword skill. You would not know the damage or even the name. Now, if you did have a high level in sword, you'd be able to look at the blunt and piercing and slashing damage, let's say. Now, one of the key factors here is that the blunt damage will be represented in an abstract form. You will not have a 1 to 10 DPS. Instead, you will have the words very poor. Now, if you look at the piercing damage, it's excellent, instead of 9 to 10 DPS. Now, this is very key, I believe, to keep MO from becoming a numbers game, and it's one of the many reasons I am looking forward to playing Mortal Online.
Hey, this is Lacrimose from Aegis Imperium. I'm going to talk a little bit about class guilds and how those are going to be different from the class systems that you see in most MMOs. First off, there seems to be a little confusion as to what exactly class guilds are. There's not going to be any hard-coded classes. You're never going to be forced to choose a class. Mortal Online is going to be entirely skill-based, and whether or not you choose one of these class guilds is going to be up to you. Joining a class guild is going to give you some sort of benefit. For instance, if you join, say, the Mages Guild, you might get access to a spell that you wouldn't otherwise be able to cast, or maybe you'd get a stat or a skill bonus for joining that guild. In addition, you'll get access to a class title that will reflect the guild that you've chosen, and whether or not you want to display that title is going to be up to you. Now, in order to get into a class guild, there's going to be certain prerequisites. For instance, with the Mages Guild, you may need a certain amount of intelligence before you can get in. You may need a certain proficiency in some of the mage-related skills. I'm just making these up, but there's going to be some sort of requirements that you have to meet before you're allowed to join. Essentially what this does is it prevents anyone from having a really well-rounded character and then also reaping some of the benefits of being in one of these class guilds. So if you do decide you want to be in a class guild, you're going to have to devote your character to that class, and you're going to have to invest in skills that are related to that class. Obviously, if you don't want to join a class guild, you're not forced to, so if you decide that your playstyle doesn't exactly fit one specific class, you can remain ungilded. And if you decide later on that you want to change your playstyle, you can always leave one guild and join another class guild.